For more on this, let's bring in Thomas MacManus. He's a senior lecturer in state crime at the Queen Mary University of London. It's good to have you on the show, Thomas. The UN chief has been calling for a ceasefire, but as we've seen in the past 24 hours or so, there have been multiple resolutions, I think 3 resolutions that have been vetoed by members of the Security Council. It's not looking like anything substantive is going to come out.
No, I would agree with that analysis, that we have seen resolutions vetoed already, and we have another 2 coming up, one tabled by Russia and the other one tabled by the United States. And based on experience, I would fully expect them to veto each other's resolutions. We have to remember, if we go back to 1967, we have a UN resolution 242, which is still outstanding. So it's very difficult, even if these resolutions passes, to get any enforcement on the back of them.
Okay. Let's turn our attention to what's actually happening on the ground rather than sort of in these chambers in New York. I mean, I'm wondering if any international humanitarian law applies to this conflict.
Yeah, absolutely, it applies. We know we have an illegal occupation. We have the crime of apartheid. We have now the blockade of Gaza, which is illegal under international law. And then we have indiscriminate attacks on civilians by both sides of this conflict. Again, completely illegal under international law, but that's not really what matters. What matters is if this law is going to be enforced, and that is something different. We can see the UN kind of setting the terms of the debate, perhaps, and giving us facts and interpreting the law for us. But unless we see the main states involved doing something to enforce it, then we're going to continue seeing the kind of scenes that you're showing, and we're going to continue seeing a disastrous effect on Gaza. We've seen US and UK heads of state standing beside Israel as they carry out these war crimes. And without those 2 countries on board, the UN Security Council is locked up, but also the diplomatic will, the will of the international community is being blocked by these states.
Thomas, I'm wondering, does the political context, I mean, including the resistance to an occupation, affect the analysis or the interpretation of international humanitarian law?
Well, I mean, it shouldn't affect it.
Yeah.
The facts on the ground are all that matter. So whether we dislike or don't agree with the actions of one side or the other, it shouldn't affect the application of international humanitarian law. We have attacks on civilians by Hamas, which breached that law, and now we have a blockade and bombardment of civilians inside Gaza, which also breached that law. There's nothing in international law that allows us to step back, if that's your question, to base our response on how we feel about the actors.
Okay. Thomas MacManus, thank you very much for joining us on the NewsHour. I do appreciate talking to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.